Comedy Jonah. Hello.
Hello! A special time we're here doing a show.
It's very animated.
Very animated. This is how I am during the day. Like when you guys see me later on after the episode, and I've had a cocktail or two. Yeah, I'm not as animated. But yes, I'm
All
excited.
right, well,
I'm excited to talk to June.
I am super excited for this show. We're going to bring June on in 1 minute. Just let me let you guys all know first, wherever you are watching this, make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe. It's a great way to help support our shows. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, your favorite podcast providers, 5-star ratings, nice reviews, thumbs up on YouTube. All of those things really help support our shows. We really appreciate it. Of course, share the show. Let everyone know that we are live now, or if you're watching this in the future, share it then too. Maybe there's a Facebook group that you think would like it. Maybe your mom is sad and needs to be cheered up. Whatever. Of course, if you guys have any questions, you can tweet us them with hashtag YRRLive, even though I know you won't, and you'll do option B, which is leave them in the chat rooms. We are collecting them from there. That being said, let's bring on the lady you've all been waiting to hear from this season, our good friend, June!
Yay!
How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We are
Good.
wonderful. I know, in the beginning of every season, I say to people, let me know who you want on, whose opinion do you want on this season,
Yeah.
and everybody is always like, June, we need June, get June, we need to hear from June.
Now we have our June sandwich, because I think I'm like right smack dab in the middle of you two, right?
You are.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
We got a June sandwich.
There you
And
go.
And do you know what the lettuce on that sandwich would be, June?
Tell me.
Noah.
Oh! But he's not here.
I know. Here's the thing. I don't like children, so I didn't want him to be part of this show. But I know. No, I'm totally kidding. The number one thing that everybody is so excited about, and that, we were asking people for questions ahead of time, is this is the first season that you're watching together, right?
Well, we did watch Tyler's season for a bit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we stopped. So this is like, this is for real. For real.
For
He's
real.
older now, and so he understands things a lot more. So he's like judging, and he has commentary, and he has sass. So it's been pretty amazing watching it with him.
First of
awesome.
all, I think Big Brother is missing out on an opportunity here, because Big Brother production should be on the phone with you. There should be a segment like Noah's Takes that should be on Paramount Plus. I don't know why they're dropping the ball here.
It's okay. It's okay, because Noah is, he's going to be on at some point doing something. And I've been, making him very comfortable in front of the camera, in front of a microphone, no stage fright. I've been like prepping him for whatever the future brings.
Ooh.
So he might be co-hosting with you one day, Eric.
Ooh.
Sorry, Jonah.
I hope to win the lotto by then and be done. No, that could be very fun. We will be cheering him on. I can't imagine what it would be like to see him play Big Brother.
I think he'd be really good, and he would give us such good diary room. Oh, before we go on, I have to say I'm not wearing any makeup right now because it's 10 p.m. and I'm trying to grow old naturally and gracefully, so I haven't done anything. So that you're getting natural June, which is very rare. It's like diary room right now.
You look great.
June, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
You look beautiful. Plus, you're in between us two, and I have a neck roll and 40-year-old face, so don't worry about it. Yes. The chat is saying you look gorgeous as always. What are you talking about?
Thank you.
I think we could have a season with the children of BB players. Like,
Wouldn't that be
realistically,
amazing?
that can happen in the next, what, 10 years, I feel
Yeah.
like?
So I don't feel like we even have to wait that long because I feel like we could have a season where we have the kids in the house
Uh huh.
and then we have their coaches, aka the parents, whether it's
Yeah.
the mom or the dad, like, separately somewhere,
Yeah.
but like, they can use lifelines or whatever it is to get coached. I think that would be such a hit. I just love watching kids like on reality television because as long as it's not like, exploiting them. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think that would be so interesting.
Like, right. No. I'm thinking this is a bad idea now. Look at how horrible social media is to people. Now the kids are
Mm-hmm.
going to be getting death threats.
Oh, I
Like,
Oh,
know.
I
Rachel
don't.
Riley's kid went after June's kid. We're going to destroy his 8th grade graduation. We're going to burn that
Right?
diploma. Like,
But kids, but kids are different. Like kids are not going to be sitting around like Derek F, being like that bitch this and that bitch that. Kids are going to be like,
Sure.
Mama, what do I do now? Like Violet wants to have an alliance with me, but I know that you and her mom Janelle had drama in the past. Like, what should I do? And then I can just like give him advice and be like, no, 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 no. Violet is a separate entity from her mom. And me and Janelle get along fabulously now. So you
right.
guys can totally create an alliance. Why not?
Go make a TikTok dance together.
Yeah, she's on TikTok.
Right.
She
No
is.
fights
Who
over Play-Doh
isn't?
or anything like that.
Noah's not on TikTok.
Well, that's because
Neither
you're a
am
good
I.
parent.
Mm.
So, what I was gonna say is everybody wants to know what your thoughts are, just in general. Like, we'll get more into the specifics, but what are your thoughts are in general on this season? I mean, a season that has one of the most diverse casts we have ever had. Seeing a cookout alliance, all of the just the season as a whole in general. What are your thoughts on it?
But is this the most diverse cast?
I mean, I can't think of another cast that was as diverse.
I think
Yeah.
it is the most diverse, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
period.
like, we've already kind of like made history,
Yeah, definitely.
and so many like milestones in the history of Big Brother are being made this season just
Mhm.
because the cast is the most diverse cast we've ever had. Like we've never had like two black men go back to back HOHs ever in a season. We've never had an alliance like the Cookout Alliance.
Mhm.
We've never had a jury without one white
White.
man on it. I
Yeah.
mean, we are making history right now.
Yep. It's amazing. It is
And I'm so glad
amazing.
that I get to see this and I get to see it with Noah. I feel like if there was one season that he really needed to see, it's this one because after everything that everyone's been through the past couple of years and all the, xenophobia, and Noah has also been not picked on because he's not a kid that can be bullied at this point. I sent him to Taekwondo and he knows how to like, hurt people if he has
Good.
to. Self-defense, like he
Uh-huh.
knows what to say because I give him the tools and I give him the little one-liners. Don't hurt people, whether it's verbal or physical, but you need to like be able to throw something back at them. And so he's really good at that, but he's also seen and heard a lot of stuff that he should not have to as a 9-year-old. But because this
Right.
country is so not as diverse as other countries, and because kids are picking up on the things that their parents are really nervous about and anxious about and talking about, and kids listen to all of this and they absorb it. And so he's had to kind of like take a lot of that on to the point that he cried to me a couple of times. And so for him to see this season and seeing more people of color and seeing smart strong woman like his mom and seeing like someone like a Derek X, I think it really helps him and he's able to really kind of invest in this cast more than he did, let's say, in Tyler's cast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And even I,
Tyler's
I
cast.
Tyler's cast. Well, that says a lot. But for it such a short time ago, it being Tyler's cast, amazing how easily they let Christian go this week. I
Mm-hmm.
thought for sure there would have been something to try and keep him in that house. I mean,
Um,
Julie did kind of try before the vote was read, and she was like, don't know if there's any twist before you guys go into vote. I never do this, but I'm trying to save Christian.
Yeah, because Julie is an a-hole, and I'm trying my best not to use dirty words in case Noah
Right, you
watches.
want Noah to be on the show.
But Noah knows how I feel about Julie. But yeah, that was an ass move, like on her part. It was like
I
totally
was shocked.
unnecessary. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she can't
yeah.
even like finish a freaking sentence half the time while she's reading from a teleprompter, and she has the nerve to throw that in there. I'm sure it wasn't her fault. Like, she's just a puppet at this point. But I
Yeah.
think it was a really asshole move on CBS's part, and it just like put doubt in everyone's head. Tiffany tried to keep Christian. I don't know what was going through her mind. Like, I don't know why you would campaign for someone that hard that's not even going into jury and isn't someone you're
Yeah.
potentially going to final two with. Like, she must have either lost her mind, or someone in the diary room, one of the producers, was like feeding her, I don't know, hypnotizing her. I don't know what was going on, but I'm
I
glad.
mean, I definitely agree with you. I don't understand why people were fighting so hard for someone not going to jury, but I do think that that wasn't a great move for DX this week because it did remove a target from the house. I also think people are playing to Alyssa is the part that I wasn't really thinking about. Like, it's not just sending Christian home, it's sending Christian home, and now Alyssa is in the jury. Is she going to blame me and not vote for me? So I think they're also playing a little to Alyssa by trying to save Christian.
Mm,
No?
okay, I can totally understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, like anyone who's watched Big Brother or
Sure.
studied it would know that sending that duo into the jury is even more dangerous, because at some point you're going to piss somebody off, because there's only two people left at the end of the game. And so I wouldn't want a couple going into the jury and being like and like influencing other people. It's like, ugh, like nobody wants that, you know?
Well,
Oh,
I
and
mean,
then we have to
it's
watch
Christian.
like the sequester house crap with them too. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
to see that.
No, I don't want to see it either. So you were just talking earlier about, you watching it with Noah. Noah really loves all the diversity. He's got the things he's saying, his little commentary. What's one of the funnest commentaries Noah has said so
It would be
far?
comments.
Comment, commentary.
Commentaryism. So
Commentaryism. I like that.
I think the funniest week was when Frenchie was
Yeah.
HOH, and Noah was just like, it was like his hand movements watching it, like going like this, like every time like Frenchie said something or contradicted himself, it was just like and I was like, where is this coming from? Like, where did you learn this? He was so extra like dramatic. I don't know where he learned that from.
Yeah,
um
where?
and
I don't know either.
like, and he said something at some point like, even I could wreck Frenchie in this game, and I was like, wreck? I'm like, you're nine. Where he's not picking it up from TikTok. I know that. I think he's picking it up from like YouTube videos. And then I think most recently, the funny thing was when Julie Chen said something on the live show about backdooring, and how like it's easy to like talk about but not set up or something like that. And Noah was like, How would you know? At the screen. Mind you,
Wow.
I encourage him. I do not encourage him to make fun of her. When she does the whole like, hi, welcome to Big Brother, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. I just like, I don't say a thing. And he's always like,
I love that he's not a Frenchie fan.
no. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice person and all, but Noah's all about the game. So
Yeah.
if you're playing a crappy game, he's like, what are you doing? Like that whole conversation between Tiffany and Azza a couple of weeks ago when, you know, Azza was like so emotional and like, oh my God, we can't like hurt Brittany. And Tiffany was like, what are you doing? I'm playing to win. I don't know what you're doing. And Noah was like, yup. Like Oz is playing a crappy game. And so he's all about the game at this point. Like he will think about whether or not he likes you on a personal level after the game. But if you're playing
Okay.
a poor game,
Who does he think's playing the best game at the moment?
Yeah.
so he's so Noah's a week behind. But as of now, he thinks that Derek X is playing a good game, except he said Derek needs to stop winning competitions. So I don't know how he's going to feel about Derek winning HOH.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he also thinks that Hannah is playing a good game, but he still doesn't know whether or not Hannah went home. He's like super behind.
Oh.
Is Noah in bed now or?
No, he's right now at his dad's house.
Okay.
Yes.
And I am getting his suitcase ready because he is going to Lego Beach Camp. It's a sleepaway camp on Sunday.
My gosh, that exists.
I'm preparing his suitcase.
That exists. Lego sleepaway camp.
Yeah, beach camp.
I literally thought you were going to be like, he is at his dad's house and I'm packing his suitcase because I'm evicting him now.
Noah's voted out.
He's been voted out and he made a poor choice.
Because, you know, I'm co-parenting, but really I'm a single mom.
Men, ugh. That's why we're getting him out of this game.
Right, all of them.
So what is up with Derek F's obsession with getting women out and not taking women to the what's going on there?
This is not good. You know, normally, I will take the opposite viewpoint because I think it's boring when everyone agrees. But I'm feeling like we are not liking the same people or agreeing. I love Derek F this season, but I do agree with you that he's being a little bit ridiculous with I gotta get women out. Like, you're the gay. You're fine.
Right, you're the gay. And we had his roommates on and we did a show with them, June. And even they're frustrated. Like, what's going on? We're going to have a chat with him, you know. But
I like Derek F more now that he's kind of come alive.
Yeah, right. He's not napping.
Yeah, and is showing us that he's listening to what's going on. Like even him going up, you know, to HOH and saying to Tiffany, like, okay, we're all here. What do you want? Like, I'm just like, you woke up. However, he needs to stop the anti girl stuff.
Yeah,
well, I think they're so
what do you mean
paranoid.
About him napping? What are you talking about? That's what he does. That's normal Derek.
He gets tired. It's tiring.
Well, I think the guys too have it in their heads that if there's too many women in the house, they're going to have a girls' alliance, which there's no girl alliance, right?
No, but surprisingly, there isn't a girls' alliance, but at the same time, because women are not targeting each other, as much as we've seen in past seasons.
Yeah.
Pringle. It's good because then the woman can move forward in the game. However, there are a lot of Black people in the house and no one's caught on to the cookout either. So it's this really strange season with like different synergies. And I know that some people think that it's a boring season because we don't have the usual problematic, racist, sexist, misogynistic, like
Mhm.
bullying and whatnot. And I'm just like, amen. Thank goodness. Like it's given Big Brother such a bad name over the years, seeing all these
Mm-hmm.
like, TMZ headlines and like exposés and scandals. And it's like, it made me want to step away from it a little bit, especially because in my professional life, I'm like, I don't want to be associated with like, these people if they're going to behave like this. And this season has really shown us that, we can kind of get back to old school Big Brother. And I don't know what the ratings are. If we're losing ratings because of it, like, that's really too bad. But, I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying the season.
Well, okay, so here's the first thing that I want to say is I definitely agree with you on the women part, and I think within the cookout, I'm just surprised that DF is making it an issue, but I guess he realizes as long as the cookout sticks together, which we know from live feeds they will, um he needs something. He needs something to use when it gets down to just the six of them. So I think it's not that he wants the women out. I think he's building the case to get a Tiffany out ahead of himself, maybe. But either way, I don't know that he should really be up there, saying, I want the women out of this game so vocally, number one. And number two, which this was one of the questions that we got from people to ask you about. So people have figured out the cookout. Claire has figured it out. And Christian figured it out. Alyssa mentioned it to DX last night. And it's not that they're saying we know the cookout exists, but they have verbally said we realize all the white people are going one by one. So they kind of have, and the cookout members are aware of it. I almost feel like Christian kind of said it in secret to Alyssa.
Yeah.
Alyssa said it last night to Xavier. Claire has mentioned it to Tiffany. I feel like almost they aren't going to say it to the other people in the house that aren't in the cookout. Like I almost think they understand this shouldn't be a talking point for our games, if that makes sense.
I knew about the Claire Tiffany
Uh-huh.
thing. I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize Christian and Alyssa had talked about it.
Yeah, last night
Whatnot.
when he was making his last ditch efforts, he and by the way, he didn't say it badly. He was like, "Oh, the white," but he definitely, in
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
being frustrated, was like, "Oh, I just realized it's been all the white guys gone." So I
Um,
mean, yes,
yeah.
yeah,
You'd have to be a complete moron
right.
not to
Well,
notice.
Right.
and Christian, but he's adorable, and I love him.
He's
No, I
There
love
are
him.
there are times where I'm like, he's so striking, and then other times I'm like, oh my god, no, it's like he's a walking broom or something. Like I just don't connect with him.
Have you, but I mean, just kind of like what you said, where I am one of those people who I don't think that this season is boring on any means. I could see why it's boring to just a show watcher
Hmm.
because they are cutting down days and hours of complex strategy into
Hmm.
literally 1 or 2 minutes. And
Hmm.
when there's no arguing and fighting back and forth, I could see a casual person being like, But this past week, we've started to get the drama. I just want a little bit of a pushback for the cookout. I don't want it to be such a steamroll, but we know they have the numbers and they're not breaking
Yeah.
apart. Like,
right.
But
there's
I think
no way that's happening.
we've seen this in past seasons
Mm-hmm.
where like there's always been a big mob of an
Right.
alliance steamrolling. However, in those seasons it was different. Like this season, even though we have this cookout alliance and they're surviving and they're thriving and they're doing their thing and they're getting to jury, and
Mm-hmm.
possibly we're going to have a finale with two people from the cookout. um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different dynamic, a different look and feel. than past seasons where we've had these like alliances steamrolling, and it was kind of like just not very nice in the
No.
way they did it.
Right.
And that's why the problems really arose. And so this season, we're seeing something similar. And it's not boring in the sense that everything is planned in advance and that's how it goes, because there's still like drama on the feeds. But I think by and large, every season we've seen, they don't show most of the feeds. It's almost
Right.
like so
Right.
much work for
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
cut and splice and dice
Hmm.
that usually on the shows we just see what they want us to see. And so it's
Right.
that in that way it's not very different in that we don't get to see
Mhm.
exactly what's going on in the feeds, but you get the idea just as someone who watches the broadcast shows that there's a lot more strategizing going on than there have been in past seasons. In past seasons, it was more this much strategy to figure out who's in the big clan, and then every once in a while there's game talk, but most of the time it's just really like unhealthy, toxic behavior.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of strategies, we heard Derek X talk throughout about 3 days ago on the live feeds. Was talking about you, talking about strategy. Stay in the kitchen and keep cooking. That way, you know where everybody is. Do you think that still works for today's Big Brother?
So because
Listen,
I've never been inside the new Big Brother house, I
yeah.
can't say for sure. But I do know that from the kitchen, you can see the stairs coming down
Hmm.
from the
The
HOH room.
spiral stairs, yeah.
And you can like hear if someone's playing chess outside the HOH room. So in that way, yes, I do believe that it's still a point, where you can have this like point of view and see everything.
Yeah.
However, in addition to just, being in a strategic spot and watching people, it's also a really good way to get to know people and what they eat, what they don't like to eat, pick up on their
Good
habits.
point.
Um,
Good point. Yeah.
so just in general, it's a central spot that is ideal to be in, because if you're in the bathroom, you don't see what's going on in the kitchen and whatnot. That's where you go to hide. And
Right.
so if
Or
you're
if you're,
always in places that you can hide, then you're shady. But if you're in places that are open, like the kitchen, then you're less shady. And so there's like so
Right.
many facets to the kitchen.
absolutely. Or in the bedroom reading the Bible all the time. It's like, come on, just get out and
Right.
socialize, right, Ozza?
I want to read Christian's comment, because I think it was people were asking what June thinks of Christian's now. He was obviously told about the cookout, so this is his answer. He says, "I think the cookout is an amazing group of strong people that have covered every single competition base, and they will potentially continue to, because I believe that they were behind every single decision made so far. I'm extremely happy to be in a season with them because it seems as though it is making history and may have already made history at this point. I'm very happy to be a part of it, even if I was on the wrong side. I'm so blessed to be part of this opportunity and moment for them."
And there you go. I feel
Yeah.
I
like
love him.
I feel like this
It was
season
written for him.
we got this crew of people
Yeah.
where like on the surface they're all typecast. You have like Frenchie, who's like the country boy, you have Brent, who's like the Jersey boy, you have Christian, who's like the mama's boy that lives at home. You have all these typecasts. However, they're on a completely different level as
Mm-hmm.
far as their souls go than we have seen
Yep.
in past seasons, because
Oh, yeah.
it's like they were all raised right. And so
Yeah.
even though Christian is like lives at home, and like I couldn't even normally in other seasons I'd be like, oh my God, he lives at home, what a loser. Like, oh my God, what a mama's boy, look how messy he is. He has no manners. But no, like he's breaking the stereotypes. And I feel like a lot of the people this season are here because of their typecast. However, they're breaking that mold. And I'm so happy for them. And so for Christian to really realize and absorb and digest what happened in the way he has, it speaks volumes of what the casting people
Oh.
have done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a tremendous. And now to your point, like playing on a different level, I'm sure you know now Tiffany's plan of each cookout member has their other half that is not in the cookout. And this way, it allows the other cookout members to vote out their partner, thus keeping their jury vote safe, hiding the cookout. I mean, this is such an amazing plan that I feel like we've never really seen before. Like,
It's
it's
genius.
amazing.
It's
Yeah,
genius. She's going to, go down in BB Wiki history as someone who has come up with a new strategy, just like Nokomis and, her five finger or whatever finger plan it
right.
was.
Five finger play. Yeah.
just, just like anyone who's ever come in and, deserves that legend status for having orchestrated something new. So, if she pulls this off, which I think she will, but she should be careful not to draw too much attention to herself. I would be happy to share, the stage with her.
Legendary status. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Good luck anybody trying this in any future season. I think the thing
Right.
that makes it work is the cookout being people of color who have been oppressed in this game previously. And like we heard Xavier say last night, I'm doing this for Bailey. I'm doing this for Swaggy. We're all doing this for all the people before us that did not have a fair chance to play this game. I think if you get a bunch of, God, now I'm drawing, but a bunch of just the random
Yeah.
people that have not been oppressed or have, these things happen to them in life, it's not gonna be the same. They're gonna betray each other for the money easily.
I mean, it's kind of like an unwritten, unspoken, like you don't have to necessarily huddle around with your people and be like, we're going to take out anyone that doesn't look like us. That's just not how it happened. It happened because they bonded, and it wasn't like we hate other people. It was just more we love each other kind of thing, which I think is so beautiful. And that being said, like when G and I were in the house, he was my fellow Korean and I didn't give an F.
See, sometimes I feel like that's like I joke with John about that too. I'm like, if it was all gay people playing, I would probably be like, you're out. I need $750,000. Bye, girl.
Right.
I'm gonna be real vocal afterwards. I can do a lot with my $750,000. I'll start a charity, but for right now, I'm splitting your throat. But like, I get it. It's not the same equivalent. Yes, I'm gay, but I'm gay and white. I can walk outside of my house and hide my gayness if I keep my mouth shut and keep so like
and not
I get
walk or
right.
move your arms.
I just gotta walk really slow is my point. I just gotta supper. Well, Azza is teaching me my favorite thing ever is Azza's bruh. If you watch her on the feeds, anytime she starts getting frustrated with any of the guys, she's like, come on, bruh. And I'm just like, oh, I love it. I love it. It's my favorite thing. This is my absolute favorite thing.
I just think it's so beautiful. And I think it speaks to just how much inequity has been happening, that all we had to do was get this diverse of a cast to see something so beautiful come out of it. And I know that there are people complaining, and I'm like, what are you complaining about exactly? And back then when I was on Big Brother 4 and it was time for like, America's Choice and I was like, I'm never going to win because I'm just not the typical Midwest demographic favorite and this, that, and the other. And so I feel like the show this season has, it's a gift. To me, it's a gift. And I know that drama's coming because there's only one winner. And so it's coming. We just have to be patient, but we also have to, I think, really give thanks to the fact that up until now, up until jury season, we haven't had any massive headlines to kind of stain the show.
Yeah, I think that I think while yes, it does appear that ratings are going down. I know that that's something that people use as an excuse, but I think we're also not considering the Olympics and all of, those things that are also factoring in as well. So, I mean, I'm sure that that is it too. I saw that Melissa was asking, who is your pick to win? Who is Noah's pick to win?
So, very first episode premiere, I had called it that I thought Kyland could win only because of his like physical prowess, and that he's incredibly charming. And so that was my initial pick to win. It had nothing to do with how much I was attracted to him. Not at all. Just a little. But I thought, he could definitely win.
His favorite food's popcorn.
Well, he's also like kissing Julie's ass every live eviction, being like, "Ah, you look fantastic, you look fabulous, you look so good." And I'm like, shut up! Like, hello.
Right? Julie, you look pretty handsome in that horse head or donkey head or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also very much like, and I understand, we don't really know the depth of what, his story is, but from the beginning of the season, I don't know if it's ADHD he's kind of alluded to, but listening to him last night on the feeds, there were moments where I was just like, okay, but spit it out now. Like, I get it. I have ADHD, but like, it's just, Azah put it perfectly when she's like, it's like talking to a motivational speaker with like a relationship therapist. Like, he'll be like, all right, Azah, so we are having a disconnect on this level. Now, there are multiple other levels that we can try and connect on, but only if your spirit is open to it, Azah.
Well, whatchamacallit, didn't Tiffany also have an issue with him with the whole like not saying good morning thing, but then the conversation after, she was just kind of like, he needs to let it go, he needs to just, stop talking and walk away. So I'm sure he has kind of self-taught, tools for these kinds of conversations. And so he's just kind of running through the steps in his head. I'm not watching feeds. I'm only picking up on what people are telling me. And so this is very interesting.
Last night was not good with him and Azah. Like, Azah was very... Okay, so do you want spoilers for the HOH?
No.
Okay. So I'll just say Azah was very frustrated with him.
Is Azah HOH?
No.
You just said you didn't want spoilers.
Shush, Jonah.
Okay, I can tell you spoilers if you want. And I mean, I don't think they're going to be shocking.
People here might not want them, right? People watching live.
Oh, well,
no,
we can do it a
care.
Little disclaimer, yeah.
Oh, they don't care. If you're worried about
people that watch, yeah, they don't care.
Tell me.
Okay, so basically what happened was the cookout agreed that they were going to throw it to Tiffany so that they could take out Sarah Beth this week. Xavier, so it was a knockout competition. Xavier went up against Tiffany and he threw it, so then it came down to Tiffany versus Kyland, and Kyland did not throw it apparently and took the win. Also, Kyland kept nominating Azah. Like, the house was very much going against Kyland, but every time Kyland had a choice to put someone up, he kept putting up Azah. So Azah was very angry and upset about this, rightfully so. So that's number one. And then Kyland literally had one-on-ones from the minute that competition ended until right before they had to do the nomination ceremony this morning. So through the night, like everyone's conversation lasted hours, and he ended up nominating DF, Derek Frazier, and Claire because he's afraid of how the powers are going to influence things. I believe ultimately he would like one of them down and a Tiffany up to kind of hide more of the alliance. But he was going to do Azza. Derek F. Kit talked him out of doing Azza. He was like, you can't do that. Your relationship is already so strained with her that if you try and do that, you know, it's going to be bad. But as of this moment right now, Kyland is the HOH, Claire and DF, Big D, are the ones on the block.
So we'll have to wait for diary room sessions to find out why Kyland kept pitting himself against Azza.
No, we know because A, he is trying to keep Sarah Beth safe. He claimed he was doing it for house appearance, that it would not make sense for him not to go after A, cookout members, and B, cookout members who the house perceives are against him and Sarah Beth already. So he knew it didn't matter because there was only cookout members left. Like the last 6 people playing in the knockout were all cookout people.
Over and over again, then I would have like mixed it up.
That is Oz's point. Oz's point was, if we're all on the same team and it doesn't matter and we're all working together, why was I the one you specifically kept targeting?
So I feel like Ozza is one of those like very like slow burn players. And at some point she is going to channel her inner June and like she's gonna go hardcore, cold-blooded, like slasher movie.
See, I don't know why Tiffany isn't sitting on the block next to Claire. Wasn't that the plan all along?
That was the plan all along. And I think that's where he expects it to land after something happens with the powers. I think he was afraid to put them up right from the start.
Because of the casino, BB Casino.
Because of the BB Casino.
Like, but like,
right.
Who does he want out ultimately?
We don't know. I don't. Yeah, technically, what the cookout has said is the first 2 people that need to go are Sarah Beth and Claire. Now that Kyland is HOH, he cannot be the one to nominate Sarah Beth. He will lose a jury vote.
He's never going to do it.
Right. So technically, we're assuming it is supposed to be Claire that goes this week.
But Sarah Beth, normally, if it was anyone else's HOH, she's paired up with Kyland. So she's supposed to go up with Kyland.
Right.
And then that also guarantees that if Kyland wins HOH, he's going to take himself off and not what's her face, Sarah Beth. So if Claire were to go up, then Tiffany should go up with her. So then is the secret, super deeper secret that they want Tiffany out? No, I don't think
they think Derek is probably going to get a lot of these BB bucks and maybe buy one of the powers to take himself off the block, Derek F. And then maybe Kyland would have to do a replacement nominee, which could be Tiffany, right?
Because his dad is Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the options that were floated. We really don't know what Kyland's ultimate thing. Like, when I tell you, he can talk for 30 minutes straight, but not actually say anything.
Who cares? I would talk to him. I would just listen.
Oh, I can't. Like, I can't. Same thing with Brittany. Like, I love Brittany. I understand
I would
that.
Put my head on his chest, June, and then let him talk up here.
Oh, and then the
Right.
vibrations.
Yeah, just hear the vibration because you're not really listening to what he's saying anyway.
Breathe,
You
breathe.
okay? Oh my God, my head is going to explode. June, please somebody tweet June the Ozza and Kylan conversation from last night. There is no way you would let somebody talk to you the way he talked to Ozza last night. Like, I totally get his stuff. I find him condescending to the women in the house person. No, I don't think it's mean spirited. Like, I don't think he's doing it like I think I'm better. Like, it's not in a Brent way. It's just in a, like, I'm trying to be so open minded to you that I'm almost treating you like you are a toddler that can't process any words. So it's very weird. Like, I don't. You just have to
Yeah.
watch the
As
Ozza
opposed to it
conversations.
being
Perfect.
his game and how he talks to women to get
I don't know.
in.
Like, I can't figure it out because week
I'll,
one,
I can try. I will gladly put
watch
myself
it.
out there. No, and I will have a conversation with him like that. And I'll let you know afterwards.
Okay, let me know. I mean, I don't think anybody acts in that game the way they act in real life
Of
at all.
course not.
But yeah, I think it's a little bit interesting with him. And there's a lot more dynamics at
This
play
is
this
an
week that
interesting revelation. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
okay, I want to see what you think about it too if you
Mhm.
watch some of those things, which is that mind. And again, I don't think he's doing it in an I don't like women way. I honestly think he is doing it to try and come to a place of understanding,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
in having to watch him talk to everyone like this all season, I'm like, if you were my partner, my spouse, like I would have stabbed you.
But to
Like,
the men too.
oh no, to the men, like a Derek F. He can just be like for example, when he tried to have the conversation with Azza about why he kept putting her up, that conversation lasted without exaggeration 2.5 hours. When Derek F came in to say Azza's upset, they cleared it up and Kylan explained everything in 4 minutes. So I don't get it. But I think it's because Kyland also knows Ozza and I have a disconnect. So everything I say when I talk to you has to be really slow and calm so I don't upset you. Because we're going to meet on the same page. Okay? And then Oz will be like, all right, brah. Now, I feel like that tone that you just used with me shows me that you're not really okay and don't want to have open dialogue. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't. I
Okay.
can't. And that's the
Yeah.
way he talks to a lot of
It
people.
sounds like he's using like de-escalation.
Yes.
But do we think
Yes.
Ozza needs a little more hand holding? I mean, a
No.
few weeks ago, she was willing to put herself on the block because Brittany was the perfect pawn. I mean, she's playing an emotional game. So as maybe she's talking to Kylan, Kylan feels maybe he has to talk a little slower because she's so emotional. They're just having this major communication disconnect.
Could be. I mean, I think it's. I don't think Ozza. I know a lot of people aren't loving Ozza. They don't like that Ozza and Tiffany don't get along. And do I think Ozza's playing a good game? No. Like June said, she is not open minded to the game. She does play emotionally. She leads with her emotions.
Mhm.
We know that is not a good way to play Big Brother. But I do respect that she at least keeps it real in the sense of she's not gonna kiss anybody's ass just for the sake of kissing their ass. Now, again, for me, it's $750,000 and I'd really like health insurance, so I'd be like, move your butt apart. I'll even give it a little lick. Lick and kiss. I'll take that
Um,
750 and then I'll curse you out on social media later.
I think 2 weeks ago, Ozza was playing a shit game.
Yeah.
And I think today she's just playing her own game. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what I'm saying. She's like this, like, it's like you have to like maybe every 2 weeks she like pushes out of her shell and you know she's a new butterfly in the game. But I'm gonna have
and
to look at this Kylan Ozza conversation, and then
yeah,
if there are any others, let me know. But like I said, in the
I
Tiffany
mean, you could watch.
conversation you had with her,
but
I
you know,
You
could.
could watch the
if you're
whole thing from
if
last
you're
night.
and if you're watching the feeds, I mean, Ozza knows this game. She is like a computer, like a database.
Mm-hmm.
She is spitting out facts and veto meetings from 5 years ago and all of this stuff, but then goes back in the room, has the
That's
Bible, doesn't really interact, and when she does, she's over emotional.
It's her crutch.
that,
Yeah.
but that's surprising. I do agree with that. She can tell you any detail of any season
Detail.
instantly, but yet gets upset about the most pointless things in the game that she
Yeah.
should know from Big Brother history don't
Right.
matter. I want to take some questions from some people before they kill me. Annie
Yeah.
0615 wants to know if June had the ability to choose a house guest this season to give advice to, who would she give it to and what would it be?
I would give Ozza some
Mhm.
advice. And obviously I'm biased because she is very vocal about how much she loves me. And so if I were given the chance, it would be such a disservice not to spend that time with Ozza. And what I would tell Ozza is the Bible's great. I've read it from start to finish. I used to be a Sunday school teacher, believe it or not.
Me
Um,
too.
mhm,
I
little
have
one.
not.
Mhm.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, I could tell right there,
Well, I mean,
right.
not as a job, but I had to do it for like
Yeah,
2 years. I had, yeah.
I loved it. And I loved it. Bibles are great. But I would advise her to, pick a window of time during the day, just like any other thing we do, and stick to that. And for the rest of the time, try to do other things. This
Like,
is the thing. You don't have to be friends, like stuck to them with everyone. You don't have to get along with everyone. I mean, on my season, like I barely spoke to Erica and I was like, I don't need to because I'm going to win without you anyway. It's like, you don't
Mhm.
have to be BFFs with everyone,
right.
but you can't isolate yourself continually. And I think the Bible has become a crutch for her. That I'm not anti-Bible. I'm not,
Right.
anti-Christ. But I would advise her to kind of like think about how much she's relying on it as a crutch. And yeah, I would ask her to think about what her steps are going to be today, tomorrow, 2 days from now, not
Yeah.
too much ahead of time.
Right.
Which relationships can she either mend or forge or build stronger at this point?
So you're
Yeah.
telling her basically to stay in the kitchen and cook. Basically.
No.
Stay in
The
the
No,
least
and
you
kitchen,
can do is
figure out,
clean. You can
figure out,
marinate. You can
yeah,
prepare.
yes.
It's not just the cooking. There's so
It
much to do in the kitchen. You can stay there 24 hours a day.
can. You could sit there and go, oh, I'm just waiting for this iced tea to tea, and then I'm going to put some ice in it, and I'm going to put it in the
Yeah.
There's so much you can do.
Can I make you a
So,
glass? Do you want? I'm gonna
yes.
take a picture of
Do
it
you like sweetener?
for
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
For
And get to
oh
know their
no.
habits. Absolutely. It's great advice.
I will say, good point from Courtney in chat over on YouTube is she says, but if Ozza voices her opinion, she is told that she's being aggressive and to lose her attitude, which I do agree with that. And I see that, I don't see anybody, and if we were going to make a scale of aggression, I could see some of the things that Tiffany does be considered more aggressive, yet
Yeah.
people give Tiffany a pass on them. But if Ozza expresses anything, it's like, you're being aggressive, you need to lose the attitude,
Who said
fix your
this?
face, did it.
Who said
So
this?
Yeah, who
Who said
said this?
who said that to her, or who said it in
Who
chat?
who
To
said it
Ozzy.
to Ozza?
All of them kind of say. Tiffany has said it to Ozza. DF has said it to Ozza. Derek, I mean Xavier
Is
has
it
said it to Ozza, and not in a. Well, no, they do. They flat out say, like Derek says to Ozza, like fix your face, fix
Well,
your face.
that we saw. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there
but
there are moments where they
i-
do.
is it because we don't expect it from Ozza, where Tiffany we do? Because it seems to be happening quite a bit
I
with
thought
her
Tiffany
being
was quite aggressive the when she was talking to the Jokers.
in the
Right. And
HOH room,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And Kylan does it too. I mean, again, you could just go back and watch any of Kylan's conversations from last night.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, specifically, that one as well. I want to take another question. Sherry wants to know, what does June think of the new twist? Because I hate it. Oh, you don't know the twist because you haven't
the
seen the episode
the
yet.
the gambling stuff.
Yeah, like we're voting to give them money, and
Yeah.
then they're going to use their
Yeah.
money on some sort of a gambling machine to win a prize.
So, just back to Ozza for 2 seconds.
Yes.
Because she isolated herself so much and played such an emotional game and made all those mistakes early on, she's that much under the microscope and people will be critical of her. So I'm not saying it's her fault, but I'm saying like it's a 3-month game and it seems long, but you have to really be deliberate and methodical in every step you take. And so if you make a bunch of mistakes in the beginning, it's going to hurt you. It's going to stay with you. So if people are treating her that way, then it's because she let them think that they could to some degree. And so it's up to her to fix that. Secondly, these twists. I'm okay with twists as long as America doesn't get involved in them, especially when you have people with 170,000 Instagram followers or TikTok followers like Brittany does, when you have like celebrities' kids like Frasier. Like if it was a completely even playing field, I wouldn't say anything. But when America gets involved, I hate it because it's an opportunity for production to be like, okay, guys,
Well,
let's pull some
exactly.
strings.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. So, also to your point, do you think it matters? Because I don't think our vote matters at all. Like,
No,
everyone is so upset
never.
about this. I'm like, we're voting on a prop, we're voting on fake money,
I'm
and then
surprised people
productional.
still vote.
Yeah, people will do it. Now, when it comes to Britney though and her fans, are we really that worried?
But
I
she's got
mean,
fans. She's got fans.
right. Well, but she was very excited about this. This was her favorite
She
one.
impressed me.
She
She
impressed me too.
scared me, but she impressed me so much.
I
I,
love
I
her.
totally agree.
My feelings on her are, in the real world, we will be friends. I think she is a great human being. I love her spirit, her like all of that. I would literally vote to evict her every week if I had to live with her. I think Derek deserves an award for having to put up with her 24/7. I would not have the patience.
He's good. He's good with her.
He's really good with her. Oh, that was the other point that I wanted to make before, of there are a lot of things at play this week.
Yeah.
Derek, DF, and Azza, the DF is trying to convince Azza, they only have one more week. If they do not get Britney out next week, it will most likely be one of them, Derek or Azza, that have to nominate Britney. So Derek FF right now is actually pushing for Britney to go this week, because he's
Okay.
like, oh, it will break her. He's like, we'll
Yeah.
destroy her whole life if we're the ones that do this to her. Which
No, that's a
kind of
good
think he's
point.
right. Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear more about Derek F, because I was wondering, like, he just seemed like a piece of furniture at
He
first,
was.
and I wasn't sure if he got it, but it's good to
Yeah.
see him coming alive and giving this commentary and showing us that he's thinking strategically.
Right. He is. I mean, most people, you are on board. Most people are not
Yeah.
Derek F fans. They do feel like he sleeps most of the day, slaps his fan. And they were right for the first 3 weeks. But I would
Yeah.
say in the past 2 weeks, he has come more alive and gotten more involved in this game.
Well,
And
I mean,
I
and as
just,
people leave too, you kind of have to, right? Or you're going to be voted out if you're not making those kind of
right.
connections and figuring out, oh, this is what really the game is.
Mm.
Yeah. I have three more questions that I want to ask. This first one is more of a question comment. It's from Forever Tulsa Girl, who says, "My question is for June, and also that I love her. Has she been made aware that her name is always brought up by this cast as one of the top females consistently? So are you aware that they are always referencing you in this house as a like legendary player of the game?"
I'm going to say this, that the Big Brother fans on Twitter are so amazing that whenever it comes up or someone does mention my name on the feeds, they tweet me or they tag me. And I'm so grateful, because I'm going to tell you, very early on in my Twitter days, also when I was younger and I was a little bit more obnoxious, I would sometimes tweet things that, looking at it now, I cringe. And the thing is, I don't delete any of them, because I think that that was my past. And if someone calls me out on it, I'm like, yep, I said it and I regret it. And I don't want to be one of those people that tries to like delete things and look like some kind of
Right.
Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
And so I leave it. I leave everything, and people dig it up, and it's a moment for me to kind of reflect on, like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually put this out in the Twitterverse. And so I kind of like changed my persona, but not because it was a conscious switch to be someone else, but because I think in the last few years I've grown up tremendously, on my own, as a person, as a mother, as a woman, as a person of color. I used to be much more selfish, I think, and not consider other people's feelings. And so I've like toned it down a lot. I'm still sassy and tough and, don't give a flying F, like Ozza said about me. However, I am not like mean just for the
To be mean.
sake of it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I've shifted a little bit, and I've like really also seen a shift in the Big Brother fandom and how they, react with me and interact with me. Most of the really toxic, dangerous trolls have fallen away. And I'm really embracing this new side of the Big Brother fandom. And so, long story short, yes, I am aware and I love it. I'm totally
Okay.
honored. And I hope CBS realizes that, it's not just the most recent cast members that actually have clout. I think a
Right.
lot of us old OG Big Brother folks, we've now all like kind of grown up, and I'm glad to see a lot of them are still active with the fans, like James Ryan and
Yeah.
Danielle Reyes, even Jason Guy came out of hiding.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to see that.
I am as well. Band leading lady who is Steve Moses's mom, Big Brother 17 winner. She wants to know, is there anyone that you and Noah disagree about on this season with your feelings on anyone?
Um, Hi, Steve Moses' mom. I do believe she was one of the people that I was mean to way back when.
Oh.
But like I did apologize, and I even
Well,
apologized
she's here watching you now.
to Steve when he came out of the house. I was like, I think I was mean to your mom. I'm sorry. And so, hi, I'm glad you're here. So, is there anyone that Noah and I are cheering for? Is the question?
No, is there anyone that you guys don't
Oh,
agree on? Like, is there
oh,
anyone
that
that you
yeah.
like and he doesn't, or vice versa?
So in the beginning of the season, I didn't like Hannah, but Noah liked her. So there was
Mhm.
that. But now I love Hannah. And now not really. He and I are kind of like cut from the same cloth. And they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And so um he was hoping Travis would stay for like 20 minutes that
Mhm.
week. And I was like, you're not getting dessert this week.
Oh my. Oh my.
That's about
Travis
it.
has
Everyone that's in the house now, I think we all agree on he
Mhm.
adores Derek X. And so he'll have so much fun catching up, I think, on the last couple of weeks.
Perfect. Lost and Confused wants to know, do you think that the cookout is going to be setting a precedent now for future POC players?
Mm, I think what's going to happen after this season is not just people of color, but people with actual jobs will more likely
Yeah.
apply to be on the show. Because I think that number kind of dipped for a while because of all the drama and scandals and people not wanting to be associated with the show because after the show you got to go back to work.
Right.
Um, and so I think that this will encourage more applicants. Although I've heard that this season, a lot of them were recruits anyway, but I think it definitely does set a precedent. I think, you know, it breaks my heart still to think about what Howard and Candace had to go through. And we see now, like 8 seasons later, this band of people coming together and playing a really fantastic game, and showing us what BB strategy looks like again. And so I'm just really happy that this is happening, and we can only hope that this is going to set a precedent. Although I'm sure there are people at CBS who are like, we're never doing this again.
Mhm.
So we'll
Oh yeah.
see who prevails.
Right.
Yeah, I said that last season with Big Brother Canada and also with this season, like, we all really need to come out and support it, because if we do not, it really gives them the excuse to go, well, the advertisers aren't interested. We
Yeah,
look, we
Right.
tried. Here's
yeah,
the numbers.
yeah.
Horrible. We're not doing it. So I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see which side plays out. I hope that it's not the pendulum swinging back the other way, where now, let's say, the white people next season will just be like, any minorities gone, we saw what they did last season, get them all out, we have to get them all out. Like, I am honestly afraid that's what will happen.
It might happen. It might very well happen, but at the same time, then that's a reflection of what's going on outside the house as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think what we're really seeing this season is a true kind of split
Mhm.
in the demographics of, I don't know, your neighborhood, my neighborhood back in New York, like not here because everyone here is white. But, just in general, I think what we're seeing is a better looking microcosm, something more realistic to what we see, out on the streets in our neighborhoods, in our towns. And we can only hope that they continue with this trend. And it's interesting because I don't think Julie Chen has mentioned it or said anything about it either in interviews, or did I miss it? Usually
Uh,
they like to pick up on these kind of topics.
no, I mean, no. I have not heard her specifically mention it.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm not going to say no, she has not. I'll just say I haven't heard her.
I haven't
Um,
seen anything. Usually by now they do like a check-in and talk about
yeah,
things like this. But normally it's because like, I don't know, someone did something horrible or,
yeah,
needs to speak on it. But, to Derek X's point when he was on the hammock having all these talks about representation and seeing someone that looks like you,
Yeah.
on a main stage
I
or in
know.
the media. Honestly, when I was back in 2003 going on the show, in the beginning, I looked up to Julie. I was like, oh my God, it's an Asian woman on, national television, broadcasting.
Mhm.
Um, and then all that stuff came to the surface about what was going on in her personal life. And at the time, I was like disgusted. And so for me, it was really bittersweet to
Yeah,
be on this television show with an Asian host, and I'm Asian, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. When is this gonna happen again? Like to Asian women, because it didn't happen for a while.
yeah,
And so I was incredibly disappointed. But at the same time, it wasn't like I was some big ally and advocate at
right.
the time either. I was like, I don't
Right.
date white men. I don't date
Yeah,
Asian men. Like
Right.
my
Right.
Asian ex-boyfriend on the show, I was like, I only date Caucasian males. I'm like, why did you say that? Um, so yeah, I
I
think it speaks to the evolution of the show.
And I mean, I have to say that, when Nicole and I were doing Hello Friends and we were lucky enough to have like Julie Chen come on for an hour and a half and talk to us, I honestly, I don't know if she put me under a magic spell, but part of me was like the things that she would just joke about and talk about. I was very much like, wow, I never thought that this is how, you would be. Like I never thought of her as casual until she did the show. But that being said, it also doesn't take away from, like you said, the things that, we are being told are happening there and, all of that. That's not that great if you're supporting it and condoning it, and being
Well, I mean,
silent
they've been
is,
working on her PR and they've been working on her brand image. And
yeah,
so she's definitely taken huge strides being coached on being more approachable and coming off as more authentic and real.
right.
And so kudos to her PR
Well, she
team.
got
And
me.
she's naturally not going to come on the show and be like, what is this? Why do I have to
Yeah,
talk
but
to these
see, you would be
people?
surprised the
You
people who
know?
have come on the show and been like that. So, I mean, at
Yeah.
least she's faking it.
People that
I will
shouldn't.
give her
Yeah.
credit to at least she's faking it.
Yeah, she has a whole team behind her training her, so she has to be good at it, right?
I don't know. I was the one that helped her with Skype, so I don't know. We kind of bonded over that. Now, the last time you were here, June, weren't you talking about you like having a book or working on the book or getting a book ready? What is the
Yeah.
book status now?
The book status is that after I did that show with you and Nicole and announced
We
it,
we talked you out of it.
and I was announcing it everywhere. I was contacted and approached by a literary agent,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, hold off, we're going to work with you. And so I was like, oh, cool. And I thought it was going to be to work on that book, my story of Big
Right.
Brother from start to finish. But no, it was for a different book. So that book is on hold.
Okay.
And I would love to still publish it, just even if it's on my own.
Right.
But apparently, books about reality TV, even if it is Big Brother, there's no real market for it.
You can
And
always just put it on Amazon, just make it a digital book, put it on Amazon, $4 a copy. You have endless.
so my point was like I wasn't necessarily writing the book for, gazillions and to be
Right,
in Cosmo and Vogue about it. It was really more for the fans.
right.
So yeah, I'm still considering it. But for now it's on hold.
Okay, here's my takeaway from that story.
Yeah.
You did our show, and then literary people came to you about publishing books that were very
That's what
influential.
I heard. Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
That's
So
what
Um,
I took it too. I
reality
even wrote
recaps
it
is a book
down.
launcher.
I am. I am. I learned on TikTok that you can just publish your book on Amazon and then have passive income. It's what we can do. Look, June, we are way over time for this show, but I just want to tell you a few things. Number one, for example, I saw over on YouTube, Road to Lofo says, "Oh my god, I first saw June on TV when I was in 4th grade, and now her here, inspirational." So are you just are someone that I think inspires Big Brother players. There are people on all of the chats saying how much they love to hear from
Mm-hmm.
you and love when you come in and check in. A, what do you want to say to your fans? And B, where can they keep keeping up with you and everything that you're doing?
So thank you, Rodolfo, because Noah is going into 4th grade, and so to imagine someone like Noah watching me and judging me and kind of absorbing everything that I'm saying and doing, it's kind of like a mind frack to me right now.
Hmm.
But thank you so much. I'm so glad that I decided to open a Twitter account way back in, I think it was 2010, and start interacting with fans again. And I think a lot of what you guys don't know is when I moved to Belgium, I was all gung ho, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to have a new life here. But it was very, very lonely. And sometimes during my lowest moments, going through a new country, new marriage, dealing with a lot of social issues, because I
Oh.
was dealing with alcoholism in my family. And then back at home, people were dying in my family left and right from cancer and whatnot. And so I was like really in this like really bad spot. And a lot of the times it was the Big Brother fans who are online who are really encouraging me and supporting me and showing me love that got me through the worst days. So whether or not you just started following me now or you started following me back in 2010 or even before that, I just want to thank you so much.
Oh.
And I'll stick around for as long as you'll have me.
Oh.
Oh, I love that.
Yay.
I
Good
love now.
ending.
And now, do you love Twitter? So you are on Twitter. You are interacting with the people on Twitter this season. Are you also on the Instagram? You're not on the TikTok.
So I'm not on the TikTok, but I am on Twitter and Instagram as June Dishes, JUNDISHES. And that was originally because June Song was taken. And so I was like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna dish food, I dish gossip. So it's June Dishes. Obviously I have a Facebook, but I don't know if many people are on Facebook, but I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, and I just launched my new website today.
Oh, oh, really?
It used
Ooh.
to be junedishes.com. And I think if you go there, it'll redirect. But the new website name is junesong.co, C-O. And
Oh.
it's actually it's for work. I just
Okay.
launched my own business back in April. Um,
Oh.
but I did launch a blog page on it. And although it will be about content and content marketing and content strategy and brand building, I plan to weave in my Big Brother experiences into the content to make it relatable and fun and entertaining. And so, yeah, if you're interested, you can just visit, and that's all.
No
Okay.
bullshit. No
No,
bullshit on this site, right,
no,
June?
That's me.
I love it. Now, I will put the links to all of those things, June's new website, her
Yeah,
social
good.
medias below this video. Of course, you guys know you can follow me at Reality Recaps, John at Comedy Jonah. And again, support June's website. Make sure that you're following her. Make sure that you're following us. It is the great way to support all the people that you guys love is by liking their stuff, because that's the world we live in.
It is.
That's right.
Until the next show, everybody, we will see you guys all later. Bye for now, everybody. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye, guys.